I just walk in the argument too one-way, why you mad? Girl, why you was sick? I do not want that. Came home to you only, you stuck like glue. If I caught that Hellcat, girl, you get one too. For me and you, I want you, I love you. Can I touch you? I rub, let me love you. Put my dreams to the side only cause I trust you. Girl, I trust you, I love you, won't judge you.
What's going on? Sevelocity back after a slightly long break. Had some stuff going on. Uh, Sean, I'm sure, had some stuff on his own going on. I had some employment stuff I had to get sorted out, starting work at two different places. For those of you who care, actually, you know what? I'm not going to share it. You know what? Okay. Who cares? I will be working at Legoland. Um, and working for a high school as athletic supervisor. I had to get that all sorted out because I'm going to try to balance both, see how that goes. So maybe a little bit less on the availability train, but we're doing all right. We're trying to get some things sorted out, some career paths going. Got anything to say to the people before we get into the sports side of it?
What's going on, everyone? I'm gonna keep my intro brief, but I just want all of you to know, like I told F earlier, I have been dying and waiting to get into it with my brother here about sports today. I've been dying for another episode and to share this with my fans. All of you who keep up with sports, you might have an idea as to why, but I'm gonna save the surprise for when it's time. But I just know, if you know, you'll know.
So I'm thinking that we take a slightly different approach today. Um, Sports wise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just throw some headlines out that I've seen from news media, and I'm not saying that we'll get to all of it, but I'll say it's the biggest things going on right now that we might
Mm-hmm.
potentially talk about. So, starting with um, starting with the Cowboys, who were recently eliminated from the playoffs. Thank goodness. Mike McCarthy, their head coach, is safe. He will not be fired. And then their defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, who was a former head coach for the Falcons, didn't do so great. Ended up getting fired from there. And then before that, he was the coach of the defensive coordinator for the Legion of Boom when Richard Sherman and everybody was on the Seahawks. Um, Current defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. He got a bunch of head coaching offers with a bunch of coaches being fired now. He ended up turning them down. I know he turned down a specific coaching job. I'm not sure where. So he will stay with Dallas as a defensive coordinator, and Mike McCarthy will not be fired, and they will get another shot next year. Um, I'd say probably the biggest news is the Giants, after hiring a GM from the assistant GM, from the Buffalo Bills. In their rebuild process, they also fired Joe Judge, the head coach of the Giants. They hired Brian DeBull, which I absolutely love this hire. I hate the Giants, but I like the hire. It's the Bills' offensive coordinator, and as everyone probably saw, they scored 35 points. And Josh Allen threw like 5 touchdowns against the Chiefs. They still lost to Patrick Mahomes, but that is a great offense, and he's been considered a great offense coordinator for a long time. So he'll become the coach of the Giants. See if they could fix the flaws of Daniel Jones. The owner, John Mara, also came out and made a statement saying that we've been ruining Daniel Jones' career and that's our fault. That's a little bit of an honest take that we don't see too often, so I thought that was an interesting comment. Uh, Outside that, Ben Roethlisberger also retired officially, so he will not be in the NFL anymore after his 18th year as a Steeler. So that's another interesting place to see where they who they fill in at quarterback. I know Mike Tomlin has a phenomenal relationship with Aaron Rodgers, so we'll see if Aaron Rodgers becomes a Pittsburgh Steeler next year, as he already did not want to stay in Green Bay, and then they decided to not show up to their final game of the season, and I think that they decided they didn't want to play a week early. Um, Wanted to just hit the golf course. I guess it was too cold out there, so that's whatever. We'll see what happens to Aaron Rodgers. Uh, LeBron, in basketball side, LeBron is expected to miss his second straight game, and Anthony Davis is also out for their game, I believe, tonight. The Kings have decided to walk out on potentially trading for Ben Simmons. They were chasing him for a while, and I guess recently the talks of the price being too high, they have pulled out of talks for Ben Simmons. See what else we got for you. Uh, Nathan Hackett, or Nathaniel Hackett, I believe, was the Packers offensive coordinator who put up a shining bright 10 points in our previous game. Is now accepting a head coaching job for the Denver Broncos after firing Vic Fangio, so that should be interesting. Packers offense is pretty good most of the year. Kind of tough for me to understand how you hire somebody after they put up 10 points against the 49ers in the playoffs. But from my understanding, he's supposed to be a genius in the NFL, so we'll see how that pays off. And then the Bears hired Matt Eberflus. I believe I'm pronouncing that correct. That is the Colts defensive coordinator. Was hired as the head coach for the Chicago Bears, taking over for Matt Nagy. See if he can get Justin Fields on board and on the right track to make it to the playoffs. Interesting division, because if you look at the Packers division, you have the Packers, you have the Lions, you have the Bears, and I am drawing a blank. Oh, and the Vikings. Outside of the Packers, every one of those teams had either a bad record or didn't even make the playoffs. So, if Aaron Rodgers does leave because he really doesn't like Green Bay, if he goes to Pittsburgh, wherever, that division's going to have a Packers team that needs a quarterback, which would likely be Jordan Love, their backup. A Chicago Bears with a new head coach, a Lions team that started 0-13 last year and kind of picked up the pace towards the end of the season, who also kind of need a quarterback, and then the Vikings, who I believe were 8-9-1, so slightly negative record. So that whole division will be up for grabs if Aaron Rodgers is out. Devontae Adams, the number one wide receiver in the NFL, also on the Packers, wants out potentially. He's really good friends with Derek Carr. They went to school together, so we'll see if he goes and joins the Raiders in Vegas. I believe that's everything headline-wise I wanted to cover. Now, should I talk playoffs real quick for football?
Yeah.
Okay. So, starting with the divisional round, the first round of the playoffs. I'm sorry, the second. We'll start with the first round of the playoffs. So, the first round of the playoffs, because did we record after the first round? No, right?
No.
Okay, so we'll quickly go through the first round of the playoffs. Raiders lost to the Bengals 26-19. Joe Burrow got it done. Really close game. The Bengals were expected to win. They won by, I believe, 20 points earlier in the year. Close game, though. Derek Carr played well with the weapons and everything he had around, so it wasn't a lot to do with. Bengals get the win. We'll also see if the Raiders hire their interim coach who was filling in for John Gruden. Patriots versus Bills was a surprise. Each team won a game earlier in the year. Bills in Buffalo end up winning 47-17. Josh Allen threw for 5 touchdowns, and I believe he had a perfect passer rating. Bill Belichick ended up going into the Bills locker room, and congratulating Josh Allen, saying he had no answers for him. Buccaneers versus Eagles, no surprise there. The Buccaneers gave the Eagles the business, 31-15. 49ers Cowboys was a bit of a shock. The Cowboys definitely should have won. They won by 40 over the Eagles a week before the playoffs. They lose to the 49ers, who I believe were 9-8, 23-17 in Dallas, right in front of all those wonderful Cowboy fans. And then the final game was the Steelers versus the Chiefs, which everyone expected the Chiefs to win in Big Ben's final game. Even Big Ben himself said that we aren't expected to win. He said that to the media. Interesting comments. They lose 42-21. Pat Mahomes and company advances. Now, fast forwarding to the next round, we had the Titans versus the Bengals. I just want to let everyone know the Titans were the number 1 seed, Derrick Henry returning, and I said the Bengals were going to win. And let me tell you, LSU, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase got it done. gave them the business. They win with the GOAT, Evan the Leg McPherson, the rookie kicker. They win 19-16, which, by the way, all 4 games in the NFL were decided either in overtime. This round was either decided by overtime, which was a game-winning touchdown for the Chiefs and the Bills, or a field goal. So, phenomenal games. Bengals beat the Titans 19-16 on a game-winning field goal. 49ers blocked a punt on the Packers with 2 minutes left in the game, down 10-3. They scored a touchdown, 10-10, and then they take the game-winning field goal as time expires to beat the Packers in Green Bay. Would you like to elaborate more on that one?
Aaron Rodgers was not a bad man.
Aaron Rodgers straight up didn't show up. And you know what? The last 2 or 3 years, I've given him 100 excuses because he genuinely comes out, plays, throws for like 300 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, and people still blame him for losing. I'm going to blame him today. I partially think it's the coaching too, because Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 29 times. He completed 20 of them, so he had a pretty good completion percentage. 230 passing yards, no passing touchdowns. The 49ers killed them. And Aaron Rodgers did an interview, at least defensively. Aaron Rodgers did an interview on the Tuesday after losing, and he said that the 49ers gave him different play looks. They disguised a bunch of their formations, and they were hard to read, and they were doing all different types of pressure to throw him off. They played super well. I want to give credit to the Packers defense because every year I say it's their fault that they didn't advance. This time that's not the case. They only allowed 13 points from the 49ers. The Packers need to step it up offensively. That's a tough loss. A tough game to watch because, with Tom Brady getting eliminated by the Rams, if Aaron Rodgers wins that game, you have to believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to the Super Bowl. So, to see him lose like that was a shame. Now we're down to the Rams and Bucks. Rams beat the Bucks. The Rams were up 23-3, I believe, at one point. They end up winning 30-27. The Bucks almost came back. They scored and tied the game, I believe, with like 30 seconds left, and then the Rams got in field goal range with like 5 seconds left. Then Bills versus Chiefs was probably the game of the year. Back and forth. Chiefs win 42-36 in overtime. The Bills scored a touchdown with like 20 seconds left, I think. They needed a touchdown with like a minute and a half left. They scored a touchdown. And then the Chiefs marched down the field in 13 seconds, which I think is partially on the Bills. When you're playing against Pat Mahomes, what a lot of people tend to do, especially with Tyreek Hill being as fast as he is they tend to take their safeties and their corners and they drop them back 10 to 20 yards because they're afraid that they're going to throw a play over their head and it's going to be a 70-yard touchdown. The problem is when you go and do that, it allows people like Tyreek Hill, really fast, to catch the ball and weave around in front of everybody instead of behind them. So he got like a 30-yard gain, I believe, to put them into field goal range, kick the field goal, tie the game going to overtime. And then sure enough, Travis Kelce catches the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So that just goes to show you sometimes playing it safe is playing to lose. Like, you got to be a little bit more aggressive than that. You can't just drop back everyone into coverage. You have to be smarter. So, interesting round of playoffs. I just thought that was probably one of the best rounds of playoffs despite not liking a lot of the results. We're going to get to see Matt Stafford and the Rams, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Von Miller and company go up against the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. Really hope that the 49ers don't win. I'm sorry. It's just I don't think the 49ers are very entertaining, very defensive team. I don't want to see a 10-point Super Bowl. I do like Deebo Samuel. I do like George Kittle. Absolutely hate Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a game manager quarterback. He's not entertaining to watch. Don't tell me otherwise. So go Rams.
Fundamental.
Yeah. So, and then we have the Bengals versus the Chiefs, which the Bengals beat the Chiefs by 3 earlier in the year. The Chiefs are highly favored, though, because they're playing in Arrowhead Stadium in the playoffs in Kansas City, which is one of the loudest stadiums, and players tend to not be able to hear. I want to give you a quick thing that I thought was really funny. So the kicker for the Bengals, Evan McPherson, he's a rookie, and rookie kickers don't ever usually perform well. I mean, kickers in general tend to struggle a lot, especially in the spotlight. So he had to go out there and kick the game-winning field goal, which, mind you, he kicked 3 or 4 field goals last week against Tennessee, so he scored most of the points for them. Um, and Joe Burrow, like I said, my favorite player from LSU, quarterback, whatever. Uh, he said that the kicker was was talking to Brandon Allen, another one of the players, as he was going out to kick, and it was 16-16 with 3 seconds left. So if he made the kick, they were advancing to the next round. If they missed, overtime. Um, so Evan McPherson took a warm-up kick, and he said, it looks like we're going to the AFC Championship before he even kicked the ball. So I thought that was really cool. Imagine being that confident. Oh, yeah, it looks like, we're going to the AFC Championship before he even kicks the ball. Drills the kick, and then they advance. So shout out to him. Man's a savage, 21 years old probably as a kicker in the NFL, and you have that type of confidence. Good for you. Hopefully that doesn't turn on its head in next week and he misses a bunch of kicks, but awesome. I think that's everything I got on the football realm. Go Rams, go Bengals.
Just a quick question, because I heard a lot of talk like after that Pack no, not Packers, the Chiefs game. What have you heard the debates of people of whether or not they should change the overtime rule?
Oh, I think that's an interesting conversation, and I'm gonna say it as simple as this. I know. I think Skip Bayless made comments about it, and I think Shannon Sharp had a really good take. My take is that every other quarterback who had to go through the same thing, where someone scored on the first possession of overtime, it was barely ever mentioned that you need to change the overtime rules. But since Josh Allen had the game of his life, that's the first thing you mentioned. So guys like Tim Tebow was mentioned because he scored the game-winning touchdown on the opening drive of overtime. Um, Pat Mahomes, guys like that. It's like if that's the case, it should have been mentioned way sooner. I agree though, it's aggravating. I think that each team should get a chance, but the problem is because I'm trying to think of the best example. Like the 49ers, or not the 49ers, the Seahawks and the Broncos years ago, like when the Legion of Boom was there, Richard Sherman, all of that. The Broncos were far and away the best offense in the league. I think Peyton Manning had 55 passing touchdowns in a single season, which, mind you, no one was even close to breaking this year. And they had a whole extra game because it was a 17-game season versus a 16-game season. Mm-hmm. The Seahawks, on the other hand, are the best defense in the NFL. So, but the Broncos they're decent defensively, but they're not great. So, like if a team like Russell Wilson and the Seahawks got the ball first in overtime, they probably would have driven through the Broncos and scored the game-winning touchdown, while the Broncos have the best offense and never got a chance. So I do think that it's a little bit unfair because one side of the ball is the only side of the ball that gets to prove offense or defense. So you could easily get screwed, and you could have the worst one on your team. So like if you have a good offense, terrible defense, your defense is going to go suffer on the fields, and the offense did nothing wrong to lose the game. So I think it's tough. I think that it should be like college rules, which I believe college rules. Each team gets the ball at the 20-yard line, and they keep scoring until they keep going until a team doesn't score or gets stopped. I think that's how it should be. I think LSU and Texas A&M had like 7 overtimes doing that, but the point is that I think it's a little bit unfair for you to solely have to rely on a coin flip to win a overtime game. Because truthfully, if you think about it, in the coin flip to begin a game, almost every team chooses to kick the ball. Why? Because you get the ball the second half. So it's like, okay, cool. But when you get to overtime, everybody chooses to receive. Because why? You don't get a chance to get the ball back potentially. You need the ball no matter what. You always need the ball first. So I think that to rely on a coin to determine the fate of a game, especially as good as the Chiefs and the Bills, I think is a bit unfair. But I think if you're going to mention it for that game, you got to mention it for probably 20 plus other games too where the same thing happened. Um, it's just this one happens to be the closest offensively. Both quarterbacks played phenomenally. It's just that happens a lot though. A lot of times someone scores on the first drive and the other team doesn't even get a chance. I do agree though the other team does deserve a chance. Because
Yeah, that makes sense.
it needs balance. You need to be able to see both the good offense and the good defense, or the bad offense and the bad defense. Um, you only get to see one side of that otherwise. So I don't know. It's a tough call though. I can't. I think there needs to be a bunch of fine tuning to it. I think that you can't let the game go on forever. Like we can't watch 7 overtimes, and that does have a recipe for prolonging the game. Um, I mean, it'd be cool if there was like a scenario where it's like, okay, after overtime ends, it ends in a tie, and if it's the playoffs, you have to play again the next day or something. I mean, that would probably be way too strenuous, but
Yeah.
um, I don't know, something with balance. But yeah, that's football. You can get
Yeah.
screwed over a coin toss. Actually, fun fact: if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they still do it, but during the NFL draft, if two teams had the same record and they were even in the tiebreakers, like all the tiebreakers were the same and everything, they used to do a coin toss to determine who gets the better draft pick. I don't know if they still do. So
Wow.
yeah,
So Max Kellerman was right. Football is a game determined by luck.
in a lot of cases, yeah. Um, luck and everything has to go perfect. I mean, even if you look at it from a like if someone's lining up for a field goal, there could be, you know, you need to have a sense of luck because the snap needs to be perfect, the hold needs to be perfect, and the kicker needs to kick it perfectly too. And I mean, I know that a lot of that requires skill, but there's also the chance of one small thing going wrong, like I don't know, the center sneezing as he snaps the ball and the ball goes the wrong way. Something like anything can go wrong, just by the slightest inch. So you just gotta hope for the best and not be the Green Bay Packers or the Dallas Cowboys. The best place to be is when expectations are high, and the Packers didn't take those words into heart. So, and apparently neither did the Cowboys because they looked like hot garbage. Um, so you want to talk some basketball? What do you got
This
for us?
is the moment I've been waiting for.
Oh
And
boy.
I'm going to start off with my own personal headline for my portion of the segment. Because to be honest, what I'm most looking forward to is not so much what I have to say, but what you're going to have to say. But this is the headline. Everyone, right here, right now, my friend here, Evan, is
I,
going to say that LeBron James is the best player in basketball right now. According to his standards, he checked all the boxes. He's going to admit it right now. He's going to maintain his integrity of his perspectives overall when ranking players. He's going to be fair and objective. He's going to do it. Now, let me give the context.
See, I didn't even know
I've
the
been waiting
headline.
so.
Sorry, go
I've
ahead.
been I've been waiting so long. Now, I'm gonna also say that everyone, Evan never ever, he only says this to piss me off, but he's never actually that LeBron James is a scrub this year. He acknowledged LeBron being a top 5 player in the league, still skills worthy enough to be in the conversation for the best, playing above expectations for his age. So he has not been straight up disrespecting LeBron, but we part ways in terms of like how we evaluate players. Like, plus I have shown to have more confidence in players' skills and consistency, more so than he does. But anyway, let's talk on the number side of things. As like we know that earlier to see LeBron to get hurt, he came back and it's pretty much brought himself in MVP discussions. Did you know that right now, like, well, the two leading scorers in the league were Kevin Durant and Steph Curry over a while.
Now it's
Durant is
KD
still
and
number
LeBron,
one.
right?
Yeah, Durant is still number one. He's at 29.3 points per game. That's KD. We already know. LeBron James is number two right now. He's at 29.1. But get this, Ev. Did you know that that is the most points LeBron has averaged in his career since 2010?
I
His
didn't know
final
that, but thinking about it now, I know he usually doesn't go above 26 points a game. Like usually that's his magic number, and he's what 29 right now.
Yeah, like
Okay, yeah.
in 2010, he averaged 29.7.
Okay.
And now I'm looking at his stats right now. This is his fourth so far. This is his fourth career highest season average. His highest was in 2008 at 30. His number two was 29.7 in oh no, I'm wrong. The 30 was number two. His number one was in 2006, 31.4.
Well,
The, the 29.7 was number three in 2010. And then since then, he's teetered around the 26 to 27. And last year, he was at 25. This year, 29.1. Now, in addition to all of that, Le, LeBron's, as for his career averages, um, for his career he averages 7.4 rebounds per game. Right now he's averaging 7.7. His assist numbers a bit below his normal as averages 7.4 for his career. Right now he averages 6.3, but everything else is better. Like his career, he's a career 50% um overall field goal scorer, but right now he's at 52. His career 3-point percentage is 34.5. He's at 35. His free throw percentage for his career is 73. He's at 76. His player efficiency rating is essentially the same. So, why do I add all that context? Yes, the man is getting older. Yes, the man is less athletic, and obviously we can't expect him to go out there and play 48 minutes a game like he used to back in Miami. But still, in terms of his impact on the floor, at least for according to the numbers, there isn't a actual decline in how effective he can be on the court. And a big credit to his head is we all know how versatile LeBron is. So while his athleticism has been declining, he still impacts the game in other ways and elevates in other ways. Like hell, his 3-point shooting this year, his free throw shooting. So it still bounces out. Like I just like Evan, most other people will still say, despite those numbers, which are phenomenal for anybody, would not say this is the best version of LeBron James. Like the best version of him was in Miami, but I think this version of LeBron right now is better than this is the best LeBron we've seen since he's come in Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, arguably maybe the first year before his injury, but I think so. Is somewhat comparable actually to his Cleveland days. Well, he put in more effort in the regular season right now than he did back then, but yeah, he's still very consistent. If there is a decline, it's barely noticeable. But now, I enough talking about LeBron. Do you know why I really look forward to this segment? Because I still remember the notification I got on my phone and watching the game when Kevin Durant got injured. He has a sprained MCL. He received an MRI and he was confirmed he was gonna miss 4 to 6 weeks at least to recover. And I know my friend F here, he really puts a lot of emphasis on players' health and injuries. And he is correct, especially like in the case of LeBron. He worries that all like LeBron just spraining his pinky could, knock him down like a couple levels on the list. As he fears that it might really add up and injure his career until he can't play basketball anymore for God knows what reason. But I mean, yeah, when you get older, every injury is like a bit more severe. But once again, Kevin Durant receives an actual truly severe injury, and and it's not like he's one of those young boys like Jason Tatum. He is 33 years old. 33. So I don't think he's healing out as well as he used to back in his younger days either. So therefore, by your standards, he is not better than LeBron James. He's not better than Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm just gonna leave those two for now because don't think I forgot a couple a couple segments ago, I said that let Kevin Durant get injured like this, I'm not gonna put him in the top five, but I'll hold off on that depending on what you have to say. But everyone, I feel very confident because the reason why I'm even doing the show is because I'm a person who likes talking basketball with people who know basketball, and my friend here Ev knows a lot about basketball. He held it's you can even argue it's his profession. He took courses on it in school. He knows exactly what he's talking about, and that he's my brother, and I respect him so much. He'll always be my brother, and I believe in him. And I think his head is screwed on straight today. He had a rough day at work, but he's charged up with some coffee. I think he's gonna do what's right. Take it away, my man.
That was such a build up to feel like I'm gonna get gaslit the next time you talk, but we'll see.
I think that was my best segment ever.
Yeah, it was a good build up. It was like a straight up WWE promo. I did say that injury factors into performance and my evaluations. um, so I think Kevin Durant, prior to his injury, was the best player in the NBA. Before his injury, and now he's hurt. And I tend to not factor in, like, I tend to take that injured person out of the conversation usually immediately. So regardless of what he's like when he returns, I do think that he will recover from injuries better than LeBron just because he's slightly younger. I know it's not much; it's 2 or 3 years, but either way. When it comes to an injured player, I usually take him straight out of the conversation. So, like when LeBron was injured and he was barely on the court, I usually just withdraw him from that top threshold. So, Kevin Durant cannot be the best player in the world right now because Kevin Durant is not on the court. Do I think he'll recover perfectly fine? Yes, because he recovered from a torn Achilles perfectly fine, but there's never a guarantee. LeBron had a bum ankle at the age of, what is it, 37? Or is he 36?
He's 37.
So 37, and he was missing a lot of games without him being designated a specific injury. We didn't know if it was a sprain. We didn't know if something was broken, but he was missing a lot of games to an ankle injury that was nagging him. So that concerned me that he was having an ankle injury from basically father time, and it would probably affect him for the rest of his career, which could be true too. We just don't know it. He's just hiding it. Statistically speaking, LeBron is probably the best player in the league right now. I do want to raise a small point regarding somebody else in the NBA because, like I said, I'm going to take Kevin Durant out of the conversation. We're going to bring up Giannis. So, I'm just going to compare the stats to you. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. I'm just going to bring up the stats. All right, so we'll start with the teams. The Lakers are 24 and 25, and the Bucks are 30 and 20. And let's just let's be real about this. Both of them are performing way below expectations. Record wise.
I say below expectations on the Bucks and way below on the Lakers end.
Reasonable. So, and I thought it would be attributed to the lack of games LeBron has played or Chris Middleton, but looking at it too, because I thought Giannis has played most of the season. Giannis has played 40 games out of the 50, and then out of the 49 for the Lakers, LeBron's played 36 of them. So they both have played almost the same percentage of games. All right, so we'll start with LeBron's stats, and I know you already mentioned him, but he averages 36 minutes a game, 52% field goal percentage, 35%. I'm rounding down or up depending on the decimal. 35% three-point percentage, 76% free throw percentage, I'll say the decimal for this because it's important. 7.7 rebounds a game, 6.3 assists a game, 1.1 block a game, and 1.6 steals a game. 3.1 turnovers a game. Now for Giannis' stats, he averages 4 minutes less. He averages 32 minutes a game. A 53% field goal percentage, 1% better than LeBron. And trust me, this isn't me trying to nitpick here. 28.3% 3-point percentage, which honestly not bad. For Giannis. Listen, LeBron's 7% better, and I think. Well, LeBron's is 28. I'm sorry, no. LeBron's career 3-point percentage is 34%. He's 1% higher than normal. Giannis is 0.4% worse than normal. 72% free throw shooter, which, by the way, I can never understand why everyone roasts his free throw shooting when his career free throw shooting percentage is 71%. That's
Well,
pretty good for a career.
well, here's the thing though, and we can also attribute this to LeBron because even at LeBron's like 74% maybe, he gets roasted
76.
for it too. If you
Yeah.
don't average 80%, they roast your free
Yeah.
throw.
So LeBron's
Yeah.
4% better than that. Obviously, rebounding, Giannis got 11.2 to LeBron's 7.7, so that's going to be better. This one was a bit surprising for me. LeBron averages 6.3 assists. Giannis averages 6 assists. And then 1.5 blocks for Giannis to LeBron's 1.1. LeBron gets 1.6 steals a game. Giannis gets 1 steal a game. And then LeBron averages 3.1 turnovers, while Giannis averages 3.6 turnovers. Giannis averages 28.6 a game, and LeBron averages 29.1 a game. So I would say that those stats are super identical and very comparable to determine who. I mean, I think it's undoubtedly those two are 1 and 2, regardless of where you put them. But the stats are super comparable, and at the same time, um, I'm not saying this out of defense for Giannis, but Giannis has also played on average 4 minutes less a game. So I thought that was interesting. I think that when we watch LeBron and we see all of his stats and we know who LeBron is, we're like, wow, it's far and away LeBron's the best player in the league right now, with the exclusion of Kevin Durant. But when you bring up Giannis' stats and his record too, you're like, wow, I mean, he's been spectacular too. I know there's that favoritism from recent bias too, that a lot of people have, or the LeBron haters who will just straight up say Giannis is the best because LeBron sucks. I think those stats are surprising for how close that they are. I will still always say that since you're a veteran, you still have the game IQ advantage that goes to LeBron, who understands the situations. But I'm surprised to see because I didn't think LeBron played 36 games. I thought he played less. I thought he played like 25 games. So it was a bit of a surprise. But to his credit, I would say he's one of the top 2 players in the NBA.
Well, well, I got an interesting question for you. Like, and this is really joking. Like, this isn't me like actually trying to suggest a definitive answer, but I think right now, since we're going off of like we're talking like numbers right now, we need to give Joel Embiid a lot of credit right now.
He's number 4 on the
He's
scoring list, right?
he's actually no, he's above Giannis. He's right after LeBron. It's close. He's at 28.9 points per game. Joel Embiid. That's his career high right now in
Yeah,
points per game ever in his career. Let's see. He's at 10.7 rebounds.
and they're winning
Um,
games too. They're
yeah,
winning games.
4.3 assists. I think that's his highest ever as well.
Um,
Um, 81% from the free throw line, and he's a center, so huge kudos there. 49.7 for the field. He's at 36.5 from three. Again, great for a center.
I
And 53% overall. And his player efficiency rating, I'm not sure, but he might be leading the NBA right now in player efficiency rating. He's at 31.4.
he has the highest 3-point percentage out of the 3 of them too.
Yeah.
Um, I want to give a quick credit to Giannis regarding something that he said the other day because I've said it 100 times on this podcast. That system that the Cavs are running with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, that I've said 100 times how crazy it is that the 2 big men work and how much it
Yeah.
crushes the league. I'm so glad that Giannis went out of his way to say, "Hey, this is." I don't know if you saw this, but he said to the press yesterday, he said, "Hey, this Cavs team is way more serious than people are looking at them for." He goes, "The last 4 years might have been a joke to a lot of people." He goes, "But this team is really serious, and we have to do a lot to prepare for them." And I'm glad
Yeah.
someone finally said it because the Cavs have, I think, the 4th best record in the East,
Yeah.
and they've
They're
looked like they're killing
incredible.
it, but no one talks about them. because even on ESPN, it's all Nets, Bucks, Lakers, Suns, Warriors, those 5 teams. But now the Cavs are starting to come into the conversation.
They're actually third in the East right now, and I'll be honest, even myself, I haven't really watched them that much, but I've always been like keeping track of like wins and losses. But I can tell the reason why they don't get a lot of credit, obviously, the whole superstar thing, but it's also this. They're winning it in the most boring way possible. Rebounds and defense.
Well, and what's the crazy thing that people aren't talking about either? I mean, they have Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. Ricky Rubio was having one of the best seasons of his career for the Cavs before I think he tore his ACL, so he's out for the year. Colin Sexton tore something too, out for the season. So you're doing this without Ricky Rubio or Colin Sexton. And so, like, what's going to happen? I'm not saying Ricky Rubio is like that huge difference maker, but he's a phenomenal bench player. So I think he adds a lot. Colin Sexton, though, is a borderline all-star. So I think that, him returning next year, that team's going to be really good. I mean, Evan Mobley deserves, a Rookie of the Year consideration. But I love that team because they're all about utilizing big men, getting boards, and just getting more opportunities for the team. So I thought that was cool.
In other words, Giannis is kryptonite.
Yeah, I mean, I told you when you have Bobby Portis and I think it was Brook Lopez on the court at the same time, especially against the small Suns lineup, they're going to get killed every time. If Giannis is your biggest guy on the floor, or you have a center, but you're running two huge players like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, you're going to get killed. I mean, Giannis will be forced to shoot from the perimeter constantly, and he's not going to do as well.
And playing to his weakness.
Because at the same time, too, if Giannis has to guard those guys, he's going to probably foul way more often than usual, which could potentially get him fouled out, too. The Heat have been playing well. I won't mention the Bulls.
Number one in the East, the so-called bubble team. And hold on, as a matter of fact, Joel Embiid is the second best player in basketball right now, and LeBron number one. Giannis Embiid's better than you, and you know why I'm saying that? I have beef with him. I saw something on Instagram the other day. I'm not sure how legit it is, but if it is, I have beef with you, Giannis, when he said, "Oh, I feel like the Heat were a bubble team." Oh, hell no! From you, Giannis. You cannot be saying that because you had no business losing to my boy.
That was an angry, petty comment.
Bubble team is number one, and Joel Embiid is better than you, Giannis.
Yeah, well, it must be nice. Must be nice to have PJ Tucker carry you guys everywhere.
Hey, but man, you know what Jimmy called himself? He told his teammates, "I'm just a role player." He instilled confidence in everyone around him, and everyone comes out to ball. Jimmy Butler is one of the best leaders in the NBA.
You know who's underrated on that team? Your backup center. I think it's Omer Yurtseven. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I'm not even gonna try and pronounce it. But yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about, though?
Yeah, I know.
I would say because he's been getting a lot of rebounds. He's been playing a lot of minutes off the bench. I know he started a few games because Bam was hurt,
Bam's out. Yeah.
Pretty good player. And I know you guys signed Kyle Guy, I think, to a full contract now because I know he was like an undrafted guy.
I think there's some teams here that we need to laugh at. First of all, I'm gonna start with Boston, 8th seed. I mean, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I'm sorry, especially at this point in their careers, because we call you especially Tatum, we see you as an ascending superstar, but as that happens, expectations gonna come up. I'm sorry, 2 elite two-way wings like both of you, and you guys are only the 8th spot. Absolutely unacceptable.
I know how to fix them though. You take the GM and you make him the head coach.
Oh yeah, Eric Spoelstra, best coach in the NBA right now. No cap.
For what he has, probably. The only other argument I would make is I forgot his name, the Suns coach.
Oh, Monty Williams.
Yeah, or the Grizzlies coach. Forgot who that is too.
I don't remember his name. Hold on. Sorry, there's another team we gotta laugh at. The New York Knickerbockers. Stephen A. Smith. New York stand up. New York stand down. Stand down. 11th spot. Last year, so much hype, and this is exactly what I keep saying. I hate about the Knicks. The Knicks fans so much. They made the playoff for the first time in the longest. Got swept. But they celebrate like they won the championship. And look at them this year. Not that much has honestly changed for them in the East. Like I expected them to maybe be somewhere around. Let's see. I expected them to maybe be at the fifth or sixth spot, but I definitely expected them to be like within the playoffs. Yeah, me, the hater, but wow, man.
Hey, Cam Reddish has started playing. We'll see. I wasn't one of those people who expected to make the finals though. I might have joked a
Yeah.
bit, but I do expect to still make the playoffs this year. Um,
They better beat Washington and get in that play-in.
yeah, I think that Toronto is going to fall out of that. I think Fred VanVleet can't just be burning hot every game, and
Oh
I
yeah,
don't think they have enough players.
that's true. There's a three-way tie at the 23 win spot, so yeah,
Yeah.
they still have a shot.
So
But the
here's my
Atlanta Hawks.
here's my prediction. I think. Well, at the beginning of the year, I would have probably told you. I would say that I would have expected the Miami Heat to be better solely because of Kyle Lowry, because I know our records were close last year. So,
Hmm.
I would expect the Heat to be better. I expected the Bulls to be better because you had Zach LaVine now and DeMar
Yeah,
DeRozan and
yeah,
Vucevic. I expected the Nets to be higher, of course. Sixers higher, of course. That's 4 teams. Bucks 5. Now, the Charlotte Hornets, I'll be straight up. I did not expect them to be as good as they are. They're playing really well. I know LaMelo Ball's developing, but I think they've taken a pretty big jump, even though they're only 5 games above 500. So that one was a bit of a surprise. Of course, Cleveland's a surprise. I know I told people that Evan Mobley would be good, but I didn't expect the two big men to have that much of a big impact, especially with half their team hurt. So I didn't
hmm,
expect the Cavs or the Hornets to be above. I think the Celtics are a disaster, and I think it all started when you made Brad Stevens GM. So I don't even know what I expected from those clowns. I don't
also
expect.
don't have a playmaker on the court.
Yeah, I don't expect Toronto to be any good. I think that they'll fall off. I think Washington can be better. I think that I expect them to be similar with the Knicks. Like you have Dinwiddie and Beal, and even Kuzma's been pretty good when he's on the court. Now the Hawks, I expected to be better as well. So I expected the Knicks to be like the seventh or eighth seed. Um, and I still expect them to be there. The problem is we're missing something. We need more. I think that Evan Fournier is great to have. I think Julius Randle's good. The only reason I'm kind of roasting Julius Randle is even though if he's statistically the best, I don't like that we have to rely on him and he's super inconsistent. Evan
Yeah,
Fournier obviously is a worse player, but he's more consistent and he does his job, which is to make threes and shoot in the corner.
Derrick Rose is out. He's been out for the longest. That's a
Yeah.
huge loss.
Derrick Rose is a huge loss. Kemba Walker not being Kemba Walker is a problem. RJ Barrett either chooses to have 40 points in a night or 5, which I cannot stand. I hope to God that he develops someday because the potential's there and then he just doesn't show up half the time. I hope that it's just because he's young. Mitchell Robinson's good as a defensive center, but he doesn't do a lot offensively. And then Cam Reddish is a good bench player to have come off the bench. I think the problem is we need a good point guard. And probably a better starting center. I mean, there's only like 5 centers I think that are viable in the NBA, and that's like Vucevic, Bam, Jokic, Embiid, Towns. I know I'm missing one. Probably Rudy Gobert. You could throw in there, but like
Yeah,
there's
he's leading the league in rebounds. Like,
yeah.
since when did he become a rebounding machine like that?
It's just like if you don't have one of those 8 to 9 big men, your team's usually in big trouble. Um, So I don't know. I think there's a lot of issues. We need talent. That's all it is. We need talent. I mean, we haven't bothered to pursue anyone. We told Kevin Durant that he's not good enough to get a max contract, which ultimately led to him going to the Nets and Kyrie, not wanting to go to the Knicks either. So shout out to us. Maybe we'll get Zion Williamson so we can get to Big Duke 3. Um, I mean, Zion, even if he is 200 pounds overweight, is probably better than Julius Randle. I don't know. We're a disaster. I mean, I think we're like the San Antonio Spurs of the East right now. We're just like that weird middle ground that just can't ever go further than it wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, dumpster fire. I don't know. We're trash. It sucks to see, and I can't wait till I watch a game where we lose by 40 in March live.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait too.
I already requested off a month in advance for that too,
Awesome.
just to watch that slaughter. What a shame. Um, I'm trying to see if there's anything else we should address. Do you have any other NBA stuff that you want to talk about?
Nope, I got what I needed off my chest.
Um, by the way, Embiid is officially now the favorite to win MVP.
Yeah, I know. It's again, it's the wins and losses thing because the Lakers is.
Oh, we could talk about the All-Star starters because that's official now.
Oh, I was not aware.
I'll just tell them to you. You ready for this?
Okay. Yeah.
You want me to start with the East or the West?
East.
All right. Starting in the East. Well, I guess it's not. I mean, from the East, I guess, because there's a
Yeah.
draft.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm just finding the correct list. I apologize. I thought I had the. Wait. All right, there we go. All right. So, Eastern All-Star starters. Kevin Durant, expected. Giannis Antetokounmpo, expected. Joel Embiid, expected. Trae Young, expected. I can't think of a point guard better than him in the East. And then DeMar DeRozan, which it was probably pick between him and his teammate. So
Yeah.
and shout out to Zach LaVine for making a big announcement on their plane, on their flight and from one of their games. Got on the PA and congratulated DeMar DeRozan for being a starter. So big on him because I know he was competing with him for it. Now for your West All Stars, we have Steph Curry, LeBron James, John Morant, Nikola Jokic, and Andrew Wiggins.
I'm not gonna lie. It burns me so much to see Wiggins there. It burns me so much. I mean, I will say that this year he deserves to be an all-star, but a starter. But I can point out some reasons. No, there are three reasons, obvious reasons why he's a starter, and I think you'll agree. Kawhi Leonard's out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Paul G- Paul George out, or has he just been playing bad? I haven't been following the Clippers
I
really.
think they've just been playing bad.
Okay, well, he turned into polyester P in the regular season. Um, and then of course Anthony Davis, a mixture of playing bad and missing a lot of games.
So
So it makes sense, but at the same time, just to see him this. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, this is his first time being an all star too, right? His first time being an all star, he's a starter. I can bet you this though. I bet you that wait, who are the two captains? It's LeBron and KD. I was actually surprised. I thought Giannis was gonna be the East captain for
it's
some
okay. Giannis
reason.
is just going to be the first pick unless they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, well, all I'm gonna say is I bet you LeBron's not gonna pick Wiggins.
Probably not. I'm
He-
worried that people are not going to take Giannis first too, but I don't know. Like I think he's the best out of the pool there, but like at the same time, I feel like some people don't like his game style.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily that, but putting him and LeBron together on the team, like Giannis is basically like a young LeBron almost. Nah, I bet you no, I bet you LeBron's gonna pick Wait, who are the five? LeBron's gonna pick Steph Curry first, I bet.
Yeah, so let's assume that LeBron has the first pick, and then what was it? KD takes the next two. So here is what I would
No,
assume is going.
they go back and forth like LeBron and KD, then LeBron and KD.
So
They
KD
just go
doesn't
back.
get the next two. Shouldn't
No,
there be
no,
some sort of advantage or some sort of
no,
help
no.
for having the second pick?
No, they just keep rotating back and forth as the perfect. Yeah, whoever gets the most votes gets the first pick, and that was LeBron.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, well, if that's the case, if I was to pick my predictions, I would assume that LeBron does take Steph first because he always said it's a dream of his to play along with Steph.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he's the best shooter in the mix.
I think Kevin Durant would take Giannis because I know Kevin Durant has a lot of respect for Giannis, and Giannis has a lot of respect for Kevin Durant. So I would assume if he has a brain that he would take Giannis first. So Steph Curry and Giannis would be off the board, and then I would say LeBron with his second pick. Oh, that's tough. I think that they go center no matter what.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know if he takes Jokic or Embiid. I would say Jokic just because he played against him more in his conference.
I'm actually gonna say LeBron takes Embiid because
Yeah.
they already have two. Because Embiid's less of a ball handler than Jokic is.
I say whoever one of them takes, the other's not going to take for a while. Just because then what's the point of taking another center? Because you know that the other team doesn't need another center. It'd be funny, though, to see Jokic and Embiid on the same team.
Yeah.
And then I would assume that KD would go and take, at least in my personal opinion, if the centers are not a factor, I would probably take.
I think he'd take Trae Young.
Yeah, I would say Trae Young too. I think Wiggins will be the last pick no matter what.
Yeah.
I would love to see John Morant though. Start at point guard for a team. The problem is there's 3 point guards on the list.
Yeah, I think. All right, next LeBron would pick.
I think he probably would take John Morant with Steph Curry.
He would take Ja.
And then you would probably have Durant go and take DeRozan.
Yeah.
And then he would probably take Wiggins. LeBron would probably have to take Wiggins because he's going to have the last pick. LeBron's going to be stuck with Wiggins no matter what because he's going to have the last pick. But also at the same time.
Wait, is he? Wouldn't Durant have the last pick if LeBron went first?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whose name did we not call actually? Oh, I think. Wait. Oh, we might have left one of the centers behind.
Yeah, I want to see. Okay, if for a team that I would want to see play, if I wanted to see like a really entertaining roster, I would love to see Kevin Durant, Giannis, Jokic, Ja Morant, and Steph Curry on the same team. Because you have Ja Morant distribute and Steph Curry kind of just can shoot, but then you have like Jokic to distribute too, and then you have KD mid range, and then you have Giannis to just do all the big man work.
Yeah.
I'd love that. I'd love to see Giannis alongside Jokic, just in general. I don't know if they were on the same team last year.
Giannis and Jokic are literally polar opposites in every way.
It's perfect. That's what you want.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opposites attract. I mean, you have the one big man who's going to distribute. He's going to take. He's capable of taking threes and a phenomenal post man. And then you have the other one who can dribble, draw contact, and I don't know, just go coast to coast if he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got nothing else to add though.
Yep. I think we can wrap it up.
All right. Hope you all have a phenomenal weekend. We have some Bengals versus Chiefs, I believe, is the 3:00 game, and then we have Rams versus 49ers at 6. I could be flip-flopping those both on Sunday. Winners get into the Super Bowl, so we're down to the Final Four. Keep an eye out for that. Also, a bunch of new coaching hires, so keep an eye on that and those roster moves as we move towards March. Basketball, let's see. I want to just point out a couple games that might be worth watching. Nets versus Warriors tomorrow. I know there's no Kevin Durant, but could probably see James Harden. It's in Golden State, but I don't know what their mask and vaccine policy is, so I don't think Kyrie is likely to play because I believe California is pretty strict. So James Harden versus the Warriors, Steph Curry, Clay, but the Warriors have kind of been on a little bit of a downturn. See how that goes. If you're into guard matchups, definitely keep an eye on Wizards versus Grizzlies. Grizzlies, I know, have a lot of young talent outside of Ja Morant, but you have Ja Morant, Bradley Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie. Should be a lot of young, good players playing. Kings versus Sixers, not really that great. Kings should probably lose. Sunday, you have Lakers versus Hawks. I believe LeBron should be back for that. AD, who knows? He just chooses when to play now. I don't know when he's healthy. But, John Collins, Anthony Davis, hopefully, and then LeBron, Trae Young. Trailblazers versus Bulls might be interesting. I haven't heard much about Damian Lillard. Is he still playing?
I have no idea. I think, no, he's still out.
Yeah. So,
I think he's going into surgery for something, actually.
I think he's going to be done after this year. I think that team's... he doesn't want to play there. Bucks versus Nuggets, though. So, Jokic versus Giannis on Sunday. Another kind of good matchup, I think, that is worth keeping your eyes out on. Jazz versus Timberwolves, Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, Cat, Rudy Gobert, D'Angelo Russell, Mike Conley. Should be a good game. Those are just some of the big ones to keep an eye out on. Other than that, though, hope you all have a spectacular weekend. Family, fun, sports, love, whatever it is. Love that I'm not focused. Okay, there it is. Yeah. Have a great week.
To me and you, I want you, I love you. Can I touch you, I rub, let me love you. Put my dreams to the side only cause I trust you. Girl, I trust you, I love you, won't judge you.